You delegated it. They came back with questions you already answered. So you re-delegated it again. And they came back this time with a version that missed the point. So the third time, you just did it yourself. And in that moment, without meaning to, you made a decision you'll be living with for the rest of the year. Today, I'm going to show you the real reason that keeps happening. And I'm going to give you a 4-box framework that stops it permanently. Two weeks ago, we mapped out the decisions routing to you that shouldn't be. Last week, we traced the 3 moments where that dependency got built. Today, let's talk about the specific conversation that transfers not just the task, but the context, the standard, and the accountability, so the work gets done right without you. See, work doesn't come back broken because your team can't execute. It comes back broken because you handed them the what, right? And you kept the how you think about it to yourself. I've been on both sides of this. See, when I was a director, I got handed a project with 2 bullet points and a deadline. I delivered what I thought I was asked. It wasn't what was wanted. I didn't know because nobody told me the standard, the history. Nobody told me the 3 landmines I was about to step on. I worked hard, but I worked hard on the wrong thing. And when I became a leader, I did the same thing to my people without realizing it. I handed things off. I assumed the context transferred with the ask. It didn't. I worked with a COO at a logistics company, right? She was exhausted. Every project she handed off either stalled or came back needing a full revision. She started keeping a mental list of what she could actually trust her team with. The list was getting shorter and shorter. When I watched one of her handoffs in real time, she said, "Can you own the vendor review?" They said yes. So she sent a Slack message with 3 bullet points. 2 weeks later, the work hadn't moved. Her team had been waiting on clarification she didn't know they needed because she hadn't told them what authority they had to make decisions or what a strong outcome actually looked like. She just gave them the task. The context stayed with her. And her team, they weren't stuck because they couldn't execute. They were stuck because they didn't know what a good answer looked like. They didn't know what decisions were theirs to make. They were waiting because moving felt riskier than actual waiting. That's not an execution failure. That's a design failure. And the design was hers to fix. See, most handoffs transfer one thing, the task. A strong handoff transfers 3 things. The first is the standard. What does done look like specifically? Not high quality, not something I'd be proud of, but what would make you look at the finished product and say, yes, exactly that. Name it out loud. Say it out loud. If you can't articulate it, your team can't hit it, and when they miss, they won't know why. The second is authority. What decisions can they make on their own? What requires a flag to escalate to you? What's off the table without you? See, most leaders leave this blank and the team splits into 2 groups. The over-escalators, who flag everything because they don't want to overstep, and the overreachers, who make calls they shouldn't because they didn't know the line where the line was. See, both patterns bring the work back broken. And here's what's worse. Both groups think they're doing the right thing. Over-escalation looks like loyalty. Overreaching looks like initiative. Neither one is. Both are symptoms of an authority gap you left open. The third is context. What do you know that they don't know? The stakeholder who pushed back, the version that failed last year, the political undercurrent that will matter in a couple weeks from now. If you know it and they don't, it matters. And they're going to find out the hard way. And when they do, one of the 2 things are going to happen. They're going to come back to you for answers you expected them to have, or they're going to make a call that cost you trust you didn't know was on the table. Either way, it's back on your desk. And the next handoff gets even harder. You've been in that handoff conversation, I trust, 100 different times. You walk out thinking you're clear. They walk out thinking it's clear. And somewhere in between that meeting and the deadline, it falls apart. Here's why, and here's the fix. I call it the ownership transfer framework. There's 4 boxes. It takes 5 minutes to go through this. I want you to run this before any significant handoff. The first box is outcome. Let me give you an example. By the 15th, I want a vendor recommendation, 3 options, a scoring rationale, and a call on which we go with. Not a direction, a picture, something specific enough that both of you would agree on whether it was hit or not. Next box, authority. You own the timeline and vendor communication. If it cost runs above, say X, flag it for me. If the relationship gets uncomfortable, tell me before you act. That's it. Now they know where they can move and where to stop. Authority doesn't slow decisions down. Ambiguity does. Next box, context. Spend 2 minutes here. What's the history? Who are the players? What went wrong last time? This is the most underused 2 minutes in leadership. The leaders who skip it spend 10 times longer cleaning up what the context gap created. Lastly, the checkpoint. 1 scheduled date, 1 trigger for early escalation. Let me give you an example. Come to me before Friday if X happens. The second line is the most important leaders drop. Without it, every uncertainty becomes a reason to knock on your door. With it, most of them don't need to. But here's where most checkpoints still fail, even when they're scheduled. I hear things like, let's circle back on Thursday. That's not a checkpoint. It's a meeting with no expectations. A real checkpoint sounds like this. Let's check in on Thursday at 2. Please send me a vendor shortlist by noon so I can review it before we talk. The goal of the checkpoint is to review your scoring rationale and your recommendation. Do you feel the difference? See, one creates a calendar event. The other creates an expectation. And when the expectation isn't named, isn't clear, the team shows up Thursday hoping you tell them that they're on track. That's not a checkpoint. That's a status update. And now you're doing the thinking again. Standard, authority, context, checkpoint. 4 boxes, 5 minutes. Run this before any significant handoff. The first time, it'll feel slow. It'll take about 5 minutes. By the third time, something shifts. Your team starts running this conversation in their own head with their direct reports. That's not a handoff anymore. That becomes a leadership system. And you didn't install it by mandating it. You installed it by modeling it. That's what it looks like to lead a team from a higher lens. Not doing the work, but building the leaders who do the work. Think about the last piece of work you handed off that didn't come back as expected. Which of the 4 boxes was empty? It wasn't an execution failure, it was a design failure. The design is yours, and so is the fix, starting with your next handoff. If you're ready to elevate your leadership, brand, influence, and impact, I've got something for you. Download my free ebook, The CEO Shift, How to Empower Your Leaders to Think Like Entrepreneurs and Lead Like Actual Owners. Inside, I'll walk you through how to elevate your leadership, how to drive alignment, and how to build a high-performance team that truly owns the mission. If you're not quite ready for that yet, that's cool too. Then let me at least send you a signed copy of my book, Freedom to Experiment. It's all about reigniting energy, sharpening focus, and building momentum that lasts. I'll cover the cost of the book. All I ask of you to handle is shipping. Hit the link in the description if you're interested, and our team will take care of the rest. If you like this video, if this message hit home for you, here's how you can help others find it too. First of all, give this video a like, drop a comment below related to your business, and of course subscribe, because every week I'm sharing strategies to help you and your team embrace change, focus your efforts, and accelerate results. Remember this, you're just one idea away. I'll talk to you in the next video.